Have you ever thought that Zac Efron was just too pretty? Or if you just wanted to watch the guy get the shit kicked out of him for an hour and a half? Well, I might have something for you then. Gold is brought to us by director Anthony Hayes and stars Zac Efron, Anthony Hayes, and Susie Porter. In the not too distant future, a drifter, Zac Efron, traveling through the desert, discovers the largest gold nugget ever found. He must guard it from thieves amid harsh conditions and wild dogs while waiting for his partner to return. So Gold takes place in a near future where everything's just kinda gone to shit. Like Mad Max 1 shit. There's still remnants of society around, but that shit's coming down faster than a $2 whore. Enter Mr. High School Musical himself, Zac Pretty Boy Efron. But he ain't gonna stay that way, and in fact, he doesn't really even start the movie that way. This movie's really fucking dirty, and everybody in it's really fucking dirty, including Efron himself. It takes place in the South Australian outback, and everything is just dusty, sweaty, and fucking hot. That's what this movie should have been called. Hot, the fucking movie. If this movie's one goal was to get across to you, the viewer, that it's fucking hot here and that shit's gonna fucking kill you, then they achieved that in spades. All of our characters are all chapped and blistery and just kind of overall crusty. And I do want to applaud Efron for that. He typically has this pretty boy persona going on. In this movie though, not so much. He went all in. Nothing about his look in this movie is flattering in the slightest. Our story is fairly simple. We got a guy who's down on his luck, who's going to some place that's gonna have some type of work and give him some type of direction in life. On the way there, he and the guide who is taking him to this place stumble across a gold nugget in the ground. As they start to dig this nugget out, they find out it's not a nugget after all, it's a fucking boulder. And apparently, even in the everything's gone to shit future, gold is still valuable as hell. Unfortunately for these very fortunate two men out in the desert, they are unable to pull this rock out with the truck that they have. So the guy decides to go to town to get an excavator while Efron stays behind and watches the gold. Doesn't sound like too hard of a task, huh? Well, out in the Australian outback desert, yeah, that's pretty fucking hard because that's some harsh territory. The sun will beat down on you, it will dehydrate you, it'll make you start seeing shit. There's wild dogs, drifters, just all kinds of things that are trying to fucking kill you at all times. And he's gotta spend a few days out here with nothing but a bottle of water and a fucking radio. And that's pretty much our movie. This guy trying to survive out in the desert long enough for this other guy to get back to help him get this life-changing nugget out of the earth. A good portion of this movie is Zac Efron just getting the living shit kicked out of him by just the world as a whole. So if you've ever wanted to see that, then this is the movie for you. Regardless of what you think about Efron in real life, you can't help but feel sorry for the guy in this movie. He goes through utter hell for this goddamn nugget. Granted, it's a fucking boulder of gold, and that's pretty life-changing, but still, Jesus Christ, I think I would have given up. Not only are there the physical threats in this world, but also the mental. After being out here and dehydrated for so long, he starts to see shit, and he doesn't know what's real and what's not. So yeah, we got a movie with a guy who's just kind of sitting in the middle of the desert for an hour and a half waiting on somebody to come pick him up. Doesn't really sound all that interesting, but man, they pulled it off, because this was a really interesting movie. I could not stop watching it. And a lot of that, admittedly, is Efron. About 85% of this movie is just him on screen and nobody else. He was all in on this role and sold the living shit out of it. Just watching this guy trying to survive out in the desert and trying to get the most basic of things like shelter and shade was really interesting. And there was a constant threat to everything that he did. The tension in this movie is cranked up to 11. As the movie goes on, you really don't know if he's gonna end up surviving this thing. It is Zac Efron after all. We expect him to make it to the end credits, but as this thing goes on, you're not so sure. You see all the things that are happening to him, all the things that he has to go through, and you just start to wonder quite a bit. Not so much when will this guy get there to save him, but just when is he finally gonna just give up and die? They did a great job of taking the expectation of who will and will not survive this movie and throwing it up in the fucking air because you really don't know. And that really added to the tension of the movie. When you don't know if your main character is going to make it or not, that makes for a much more interesting viewing experience. There's not really a lot more I can say about the story. It's just that, this guy out in the middle of the desert trying to survive. I can't make that sound interesting. All I can do is tell you that it was, and a lot of that was, like I said, because of Efron. He did a fantastic job here. Narratively, well, yeah, it is very very simple, it's very entertaining as well. It's the execution and pace of this simple story that really makes it work. There is never a dull moment. This story is constantly moving forward. You feel bombarded by this world that this man is trying to survive just like he does. Now, performance-wise, the few people that we do get do a really good job, but let's be real. This is the Zac Efron show. This movie is all him. Every bit of fear, every bit of desperation, every bit of agony that this man shows on screen was 100% believable. I didn't see Zac Efron. I saw... what the fuck was his name? Oh, really? Man 1. So yeah, I didn't see Zac Efron, I saw Man 1. Whatever you want to call him, I saw this man in the desert. I did not see the actor. Well, I've always thought that Efron did have some acting ability beyond just being pretty. If you've ever doubted that, watch this movie and you will see this guy has some legit acting chops when he needs it. Susie Porter and Anthony Hayes' characters are really the only other characters in the movie of note, and they're fine. They serve their purpose, but admittedly, they are a little bit one note. But one note or not, they do serve the purpose that they're there for, and given what they did have to work with, they did a good job. Overall, some really great performances, especially from Efron. Guys, there's not really much more to say about this movie. It's about a guy in the middle of the desert trying to survive. While it is a simple story and most of the characters are fairly one note, it is executed fantastically and the pace is on fire. Couple that with Zac Efron's fantastic performance and you've got a movie that is absolutely worth a rent.
All he wanted was, hey, this.
I have to return some videotape.
I thoroughly enjoyed this movie and I would recommend it to pretty much anybody giving it a chance, but man, you are gonna feel hot and sticky in the end of this thing. So there it is, guys, my review of Gold. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you want to help out the channel, check out my Patreon in the description below and become a jarhead and get some of the awesome benefits to go along with that, like these guys, and possibly join my top tier and become a bad motherfucker like my man Greg C and Dragon Khan. If you like video games or you just want to see somebody never achieving the gold in them, then check out my new gaming channel, Jag. Link in the description, any support is appreciated. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, Melbourne.
Where are you? I'm home. I did my part. I found it! It's mine!
So I spent the vast majority of this movie just sitting there like itching and scratching my body the whole time because this movie is just so fucking dry and crusty. Like by the time the end rolled around, I just wanted like the world's largest chapstick and just take it and put it all over my fucking body. Woo! I feel ashy.